LTV Action Sports is brought to you in part through the generous support of these Leominster sponsors. MP Crowley Company Incorporated, www.mpcrowleyinc.com.
From the Doug Grudgefield Fieldhouse in Fitchburg, we say a very good evening, everyone, and welcome to high school basketball here on RFM. Another great night of rivalry basketball on tap for tonight. Game one of a doubleheader as the arch rivals take to the hardwood here in Fitchburg tonight. First, we start with the girls taking center stage here at the Grutch tonight. Leominster comes in on the road with an 8-6 overall record. Meanwhile, Coach Paul DiGeronimo's Red Raiders come in with a 1-16 mark to this point in the season. Both schools needing, obviously, these wins for the Red Raiders. They are looking to emphasize the positives and keep growing this young team for the years ahead. Meanwhile, for Leominster, every win matters in order to bring themselves into playoff contention. Those are the two kind of competing perspectives that we will see here in game one tonight. This is the first stream of two girls action here on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch tonight, live on RFM here on stream number one. Then we will go at the conclusion of this one after wrapping things up. We'll break the stream, we'll reset here at the Grutch, and we will get you set on a second stream that will be posted to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch for game number two tonight. Leominster and Fitchburg boys action expected to tip off around 7 o'clock. That is where we are heading. And meanwhile, we welcome you high above courtside here on RFM tonight. Todd Robbins alongside Bill Thomas and Kate Robbins. Great to have you along with us live on RFM and with our partners this evening, Leominster TV joining us in delay, and our audience at Fitchburg joining us via FATV in delay as well. And right off the top, before we get into breaking down the action, we want to thank our great friends at FATV tonight, Executive Director Nate Glennie, Travis Falk, the Swiss Army knife of North Central Mass Technology, getting us on the air in conjunction with the IT department here at Fitchburg, being able to work things out. So we certainly appreciate their efforts this evening in making sure we can bring you this action live tonight on RFM. All right, here we go, Billy and Kate. Game number one, Leominster and Fitchburg on the girls' side of things. This action tonight, of course, as we saw in the first meeting just a few weeks ago, certainly on paper is a lopsided matchup between these two schools, at least at the outset, but certainly for Fitchburg, the big key that Coach DiGeronimo wanted to talk about, and that is emphasizing, Kate, the positive. Stay focused on the things you can control, do the good things that you can to keep building and improving for the years ahead.
And I think it's so important. It's a long season. I think people don't really realize, unless you have gone through a winter season, it's a marathon. It starts well in the fall, and you go well into the winter, into essentially the beginnings of springtime in this season. So it is a marathon, and when you're not winning games, it becomes that much more difficult to really remain committed. If you take a look at the young ladies that are on this Fitchburg basketball team just right now in warm-ups, there are smiles on their faces. They're working hard. Coach DiGeronimo is going to be working on fundamentals. That is clear. And one of the great things, because you have a quality coaching staff like the DiGeronimos for Fitchburg have always been, both past and present, is quality coaching, understanding fundamentals, and in this case it being girls basketball, working on that. Coach DiGeronimo understands the type of athletes that he has, and he's working with what he can. And there's buy-in here. And you have athletes that are on the floor, and they're getting better. The record may not reflect that, but if you take a look, and Billy will speak to this in a moment, the points per game on offense that this Fitchburg Red Raiders team has been putting up, there's improvement. There's clear improvement out there, and that's what they have to hang their hat on. And that is the evidence that, of course, you look for that gets you back into the gym each and every day. Last time these two teams met on Friday, January the 13th in Leominster, a 69-30 win
for Leominster and Bill Thomas. Kate kind of set the table for you. You're trying to build. You're trying to find evidence of things going forward. And certainly there is evidence to be had that this Fitchburg team is offensively improving.
Yeah, they're coming along, but, we talked about this when they met midseason. They were having trouble reaching the 30 mark. And that's been a struggle back and forth a little bit. They do have 3 girls consistently scoring between 6 and 8 points a game, but finding that little extra help and that help off the bench, I think, has been Fitchburg's biggest struggle this year up to this point. Being able to backfill behind the starters, keep some momentum going, and that's leading to some lopsided scores in the end. But the enthusiasm is there. We saw it when we saw them earlier. We know they play hard. We're not going to get any give up out of these Fitchburg girls tonight, and no matter what the records are. And we know when these two schools get together, toss the records out.
Every time these two schools get together in any action, they're going to get the best of each other out on the playing surface on that given night. Bill Thomas, let's switch to the other side of the basketball, and that is a Leominster team that is also systematically showing improvement. 8-6 isn't a fantastic record. It's good enough to, if the playoffs started today, qualify for the statewide postseason, but there are certainly points where this team also, minus Isabella Nevard, who they've been without throughout the year, has had some young players step up and grow into roles, and throughout the year keep showing signs of improvement as they've moved forward.
Yeah, and one of those players, Juliana Pompey, leading the scoring list, scoring close to double figures, 8-9, but really being the team leader on the floor when it comes to finding a basket or finding a way when they're struggling. But the record has improved this year over last year. I'm not sure, they did not make the playoffs, I don't believe, last year. But, it's nice to see that year-over-year improvement. Stumbled a little bit in the last week or so, though. They've only gone 1-2 after having a nice 4-game winning streak. So looking to get back on track against a Fitchburg rival tonight. And I'm sure Rusty's going to have them ready to play. The girls are going to come out fired up. And, they're on the verge of making the playoffs. And I'm sure that's the number one thing on their mind. Let's get these wins out of the way now, not have it come down to the last game or 2 of the season.
And, Kate, it seems like every time we talk to a coach at this time of year, every game matters at this point during the year. But for Leominster, that much more particular. The math says they're in today, but a loss to Fitchburg would be completely detrimental to making that math work out going forward. So this is a game you not only can't lose, you absolutely must win, and you must win convincingly in order to overcome the mathematical equation issues that are a part of this contest.
And Todd, I'll translate, by at least 14 or more.
That's correct.
That's what you're saying. They need to win by at least 14 or more. If I'm Coach Rusty Frederick, I'm nervous about this game. I'm not going to lie to you, because you have a group of student athletes who are playing for their playoff lives, but they're also high school athletes. And so on paper, this should be a walk in the park, but this is a rivalry game. This is a situation where Fitchburg, and you know that the coaches are talking about it because it's exactly what I would do. You get to play spoiler for your rival? Absolutely. This is a huge pick-me-up for Fitchburg. Leominster, Coach Frederick has to find a way to get the spark going, because unfortunately, sometimes with student athletes, sometimes with any athlete, they kind of either rest on their laurels or they just go, meh, we're going to look beyond this team, regardless of the fact that it's a rivalry. But Coach Frederick knows that they are in a spot right now where in the last power rankings, they were sitting at 17. That means that they're essentially automatically on the road in the first round. Not only that, if they continue to slip, if, for instance, they lose this game or they don't win it convincingly by at least 14 or more, you're in a position where you're going to continue that slide and you're going to be facing a higher seed in the playoffs. And you also then have to continue to worry about, do we maintain that 500 or better record to ensure that we have a spot? Right now, you are traveling for the privilege in the statewide playoff system for your spot. This is a massive game, and unfortunately, sometimes high school student athletes trying to get that message across can be a little difficult in a situation like tonight. This is going to be a difficult one for Coach Frederick. I want to see what he can get for a spark out of this team, especially in the first quarter.
And we knew the schedule down the stretch for the Leominster girls would be difficult because they have not played at home since February 5th. They will not play at home until long into the next week at best, if things were to develop that way. They're on the road at Doherty, at Shrewsbury, and at Hopedale. That's a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday for action next week. Introductions going on out on the floor, national anthem to follow, and then it's tip-off. It's Leominster and Fitchburg, game 1 of a doubleheader. We'll have that action for you here on RFM. Stay with us. This is high school basketball on a rivalry doubleheader night right here on RFM. Fitchburg Leominster, game 1, coming up right now.
At this time, we'd like to ask you to please rise and remove your hats as we honor America with a live rendition on guitar of the national anthem.
And that right there is what makes interscholastic athletics so amazing. Tonight opens with a national anthem on electric guitar, played by a student athlete here in Fitchburg. It doesn't get much better than that. Kate, that is what I just said was what makes interscholastic athletics so special, is that you get an opportunity to see students in many different lights. In this case, a student athlete that can also play electric guitar and open us up with the national anthem.
You're right. It doesn't get much better than that because you're not going to have that opportunity when you move forward in your athletics. So this is essentially the prime spot to be able to see just how multi-talented the student athletes are at the various home venues. And that one was pretty special.
And paying homage to Jimi Hendrix.
Homage.
I was going to say, did you notice the Motorsports Insider, by the way, liked the national anthem on electric
guitar? I love the different renditions.
Absolutely.
The guitar, the live singers, mix it up, but keep it faithful to what the national anthem means, and that was a great rendition right there.
Bill Thomas mentioned Juliana Pompey, who will kick things off on the floor for Leominster, will get a start tonight. Despite the potential for a nagging injury, we are to understand, in her 14 games that are reported to the Worcester Telegram, 47 field goals, 19 free throws, and 11 three-pointers for 124 points combined, or roughly 8.9 points per game is the average for Pompey, and Leominster is going to need them all. The ball is up, and away we go. Game number 1 from the Doug Grudgefield Fieldhouse in Fitchburg. An immediate steal, and Caldwell swims over the top of the head of a Red Raider, misses the lay-in, and then Pompey is going to get whistled 10 seconds into the basketball game for a foul on the rebounding action, and that's the kind of situation they cannot afford for Pompey to be in foul trouble, Billy.
Yeah, that's not who you want to have pick up that first foul 10 seconds into the game, but we'll have to see if that affects things later on, Todd.
Leominster wearing the road black tops, black bottoms, trimmed in royal blue and white. Royal blue numerals front and back. Caldwell another steal. Found Keenan. Keenan missed the shot. Pompey the follow. Count the basket and a foul.
And that's what she does best, using her size underneath. There to clean it up. Picks up an and one.
And Pompey heads to the line, needing just one more to complete the three-point play. First points of the basketball game, 7:38 to play here in quarter number 1. And there she goes, completes the three-point play, 3-0 Leominster. about 30 seconds into the opening quarter. Drive over the midcourt. This was Santiago, and once again the giveaway to Forsberg. Through Caldwell to Keenan, and that one is swatted away out of bounds. Nice hustle on the play by Calderon to get back into the play to knock it away.
Yeah, I like what to see with the Lady Blue Devils looking to fast break and attack the hoop too, Todd.
The swing, Keenan, Forsberg, and Caldwell. Everybody's touched it. The shot, there was a foul before the shot away from the ball on Bello. Whistled for the clear out, and it is a turnover, and the ball will go back to Fitchburg. 3-0 the lead for Leominster, 45 seconds into the opening quarter. Here come the Red Raiders, whistle before the three-point shot, and it's a traveling violation whistled against Sanchez, and the ball will go the other way. And we've seen through the last couple of years, the junior beautiful Sanchez is certainly sort of the point of attack for the Red Raiders. Everything sort of goes through her up and down the floor. She's got to get it going early.
No, and that's one of those things when you have a basketball athlete that becomes important to have them be your point person.
Keenan missed the three. Forsberg, the clean rebound, goes back up with it, gets fouled, and Forsberg will go to the line to shoot two.
Blue Devils doing a good job controlling the offensive boards early on in the game, Todd and Kate, and I think that could be a key tonight.
It'll be Leiden's first, team second for the Red Raiders. 2 fouls apiece right now. Should probably put those up. Boy, I'm rusty over here, people.
But we're more than happy to have you back.
Indeed,
I haven't
we
put a
are.
single point up either. Wow. I am just amazing tonight. Can you check on those fouls?
Looks good. Forsberg, a little plinko. That one doesn't go. 0 of 2 on the trip. Last touch by Leominster out of play, and the ball a turnover back to Fitchburg.
Crushing it over here, by the way.
Santiago tries to find Kitchen, and it got knocked away. Last touched by Kitchen out of play, and Leominster gets the ball right back. And right now, the Red Raiders are struggling to get out of their own end of the floor.
Yeah, I don't think they've had a clean trip down the court yet, Todd, and that press is really messing them up on those inbounds.
Keenan for Caldwell, 3. 6-0 Leominster, 6:45 to play here in quarter one, and Leominster continues with that full court pressure. Raiders do break it. Calderon back for Santiago. Shot hard off the rim. Bello the rebound, and here comes the run out. 3-on-2. Keenan takes it to the basket. She got stripped once again by Calderon, who's been doing a great job getting out ahead of the Leominster break. She sort of leaks out back down floor and takes the ball away for a second time on a trip.
Yeah, what we're seeing, though, is attack on those turnovers.
The inbound, this is Forsberg. Bounces to Pompey, step back 3, back rim no. Calderon taps the ball to herself for the rebound. Sanchez second-guessed herself, bounced it to Kitchen, got it right back, and then walked with it. And Sanchez, you can see, is caught maybe a little bit in her own head on this one, not quite able to decide what she wants to do with the basketball.
Yeah, good job there by Caldwell, though, tying her up and creating that indecisiveness too, Todd.
You can see Fitchburg, however, has been working on that perimeter passing. Coach DiGeronimo talking to them about swinging it. A lot of contact under the basket now right there.
Pompey's shot missed. Bello had a follow-on, missed that as well. And here comes Calderon down the floor with the basketball for the Red Raiders. Wearing the home white tops over brick red bottoms, trimmed in white and black. Brick red numerals front and back, and Fitchburg arched across the chest.
Santiago, every time she gets the ball on the perimeter for Fitchburg, she wants to take it a shot from downtown. She's taking NBA-length threes right now for Fitchburg.
Santiago tried to bounce to Kitchen, got it there. Pompey closes and knocks that one away. They whistle it as a kick. 5 seconds on the shot clock. That will get bumped back up, and they will take it back up to 14 seconds on the shot clock.
They kind of got bailed out there in that possession.
Indeed.
Shot
Kitchen
clock running down.
for Sanchez. Now Calderon, open 3, too much window, but Calderon runs down her own rebound.
Saw where it was headed.
The hustle has not stopped.
Sanchez, the runner, back rim, no. Leiden gets to the
Another
basketball
offensive
first.
rebound.
Then to Calderon, jumper from the left elbow, down it goes. 2 minutes gone by, 5 and counting here in quarter one. 6-2, Red Raiders are on the board.
Persistence paid off there. 2 offensive rebounds led to that basket.
Keenan to Bello in the post. Hook shot doesn't go. Own rebound, spins around Leiden, got it up, and that one didn't go. And then Bello tapped the rebound out of bounds, and the ball goes back the other way. And Frankie Bello continues to be a work in progress, trying to develop into that strong interior player. Had a good game the other night, was able to, sort of get herself established physically, score the basketball, but trying to string multiple games together as that physical presence for Leominster.
It'll come, and we've seen her improvement year over year.
Ball tapped away from Sanchez, makes the kitchen, missed the lay-in. Loose ball, run down, Keenan just stays in bounds along the sideline. Up floor, she feeds Forsberg. Long two, battle for the rebound. Marwa gets taken off her feet, no call, and the ball will go back the other way. About halfway through quarter one, 6-2 is Leominster's advantage.
They're letting them play beneath that basket.
Indeed they are, and what I will say at this juncture of the game, at 6-2, if you are Coach Paul DiGeronimo at the halfway point of quarter number one, you're in a 4-point basketball game and your team has not played to the best of their ability at this point, only proves how much you're frustrating Leominster, who has failed to capitalize on opportunities they've had.
And it's been amazing. I cannot express to you enough how difficult it is with the record, the season-long record that this Fitchburg team has had. The amount of intensity, the amount of physicality, the amount of grit that they are showing out there, they are going to give this Leominster team everything they've got. And as we said, Coach Frederick has to find a way to get a spark under this team because algorithms involved, playoff picture involved. Not only does Leominster need to win, they need to win by at least 14 in order to make this a quality win. We hate talking quality wins and quality losses, but the math is what the math is. I've been so impressed here in the early going about the intensity that this Fitchburg Red Raiders team has come out with because they're only down by 4.
They're down by 4, and they look very much in the basketball game, which, again, when you're coming in, this is sort of part of playing as the team that is dominant on paper, Bill Thomas. You've got to come in, take advantage of every opportunity, literally from the opening gate, run yourself up a big lead, and keep adding to it. That's what good basketball teams do.
Yeah, and I think the problem now is Fitchburg's really digging in on the defensive end. Yeah, they're having trouble on their own side scoring the ball, but down on the defensive end, they're doing a good job of keeping themselves in this game.
And on that defensive end, Coach DiGeronimo knows if these officials are going to let them play, that physicality is only going to get ramped up even more.
Plays to their advantage.
Kitchen, the inbound for Santiago, tried to bounce right back, and it was lost across the sideline. Needham wasn't able to get a fork on it before it crossed the out-of-play line. Ball back to Leominster, 3:55 and counting to play here in quarter one. A 6-2 advantage for Leominster. This is Caldwell for Marwa. Marwa steps up to the arc. Needham closely guarding. Kelly drops it over the top now through Forsberg for Caldwell. Bounce to Marwa. Marwa, right wing jumper, rattles out, rebound Forsberg between 3 Red Raiders and Needham with the takeaway. Immediately doubled up, but Leominster took it off a thigh. Forsberg got it there in the battle to trap Needham, and it's a turnover going back the other way.
Good job right there, Fitchburg getting a hold of that defensive rebound. Having trouble clearing it out, though. Leominster doing a good job of covering up on every opportunity, pressuring Fitchburg
back
offense.
Down floor, this is Santiago for Needham. Back to Santiago, 3.5-minute mark here in quarter one. The bounce. Calderon into open space jumper, back rim, no. Battle for the rebound, out with it comes Oquendo. She gets tied up, and on the alternate possession, it's Leominster basketball.
Battling for every opportunity there. Coach DiGeronimo's got to be a little disappointed, though, that they're not taking advantage of these offensive opportunities as well as they're playing defense.
Taylor Boulay out on the floor for Leominster. The swing around. Kelly took the 3 that didn't go. Oquendo the rebound. Held ball, and the arrow will go to the red and gray.
Good whistle right there before a foul was committed. A lot of elbows flying around in that pile.
Oh, boy.
Can't run the baseline.
Oh, boy.
She caught herself.
Indeed,
Get
and
a
was
little bit of-
allowed to
need help.
play. Yep, indeed. Kitchen then found the bounce pass for Calderon, who found open space down the left sideline and will bring it into the offensive end.
It's been almost 2 minutes without any scoring on either side. This is an advantage for Fitchburg. If they can keep this as a low-scoring affair, their defense has been impressive tonight thus far.
It has smothered Leominster. Leominster has not been able to play inside, and they're not hitting any shots to the outside. Loose ball is picked up by Caldwell in transition. Cross floor to Boulay. Boulay bounces it inside for Marwa, is caught under the basket. Send it back to Boulay. Three-point basket, front rim, no. Boulay, her own rebound. Follow-on lay-in, misses as well. The battle tapped Lemansky into the game, keeps it alive. Boulay for Kelly, and the lay-in's good, and I think everybody on the floor touches it, and down it goes. 8-2, Leominster's lead is 6.
3 offensive rebounds in that sequence. Good job keeping it alive.
Calderon, 3! That's a response.
That's a great answer if you're Fitchburg.
It's going to be a problem if you're Leominster.
Cuts that lead in half. She comes right back down floor and attempts the defensive steal. Knocked it out of play into the Red Raider bench, and it will be Leominster basketball, 31 to shoot. 1:54 to play in the opening quarter. A 3-point game. The Red Raiders have narrowed the Leominster lead to 3. It's 8-5.
If you're Leominster, why are you not doubling or tripling Calderon?
Great question. Rosado finds Kelly. Right baseline, got some space. Left-hand shot will go, and the lead is 5 once again. 1:40 to play here in the first.
Nice job creating her own space on that baseline drive.
Up floor, and Santiago picked up the pivot foot as she spun down to the floor. It's a walk, and we'll go back the other way.
A bugaboo right now for Fitchburg. Turnovers have been a problem, 11 so far in this first quarter, so that is quite high.
Boulay taking her space away right there, creating that walk.
Rosado inside finds Lemansky. Bounce it back for Boulay, who had an open look, didn't take it. Swung for a contested Rosado 3. That one catches the basket support out of bounds, and the ball will go back to Fitchburg.
Have we noticed Leominster content to stay on the perimeter, going for those 3-point shot attempts? They're not falling right now, though. The only one making them is Calderon.
And Kelly's been doing a decent job to dribble penetrate for Leominster. Has 2 lay-ins since entering the game. Calderon finds Needham. Jumper is short of the mark. Boulay kept it alive into the hands of Aquendo, who sent it up floor to Rosado for Leominster. Rosado finds Marwa. Open space. The one bounce lay-in is good. Under a minute to play here in the first. It's 12-5.
Leominster finding its way to a couple of easy trips down the court.
And that's what they need. They need efficiency in transition. Because if you let Fitchburg get set on the defensive end, they're going to bring their physicality at you.
Sanchez to Santiago. 3, and down it goes. It's a 4-point basketball game once again.
Why bother perimeter passing? Just find your shooter.
And Santiago has picked out a spot, and she just runs to it, and they try to feed either her or Calderon. Kelly, too strong, into the paint for Rosado. Lemansky dribbled it out of trouble. Yeah, final 18 seconds of the first. The Lemansky turnaround is good.
A little accidental offense there.
And Boulay takes it away from Kitchen. Red Raiders will have another inbound coming up floor.
Clearly, I haven't been at a game. I panicked when the shot clock went off.
Kate has been working from HQ, but it's great to have you back on site tonight.
I think I've been in the living room a little long.
Back down floor. Calderon. Back for Santiago, for Needham. 1 second, go at the buzzer. Front rim, no, and Sanchez just a shade shy. But through 1 quarter here at the Grutch, game number 1 of 2 tonight. It is 14-8 Leominster advantage, but that is tenuous feeling at best. There were points, Fitchburg got as close as 3. And then at points, Leominster was able to balloon their lead to as many as 7. So somewhere in that neighborhood is where we are. But again, I think you are much happier if you are Coach Paul DiGeronimo with your team's performance in quarter 1 than if you're Coach Rusty Frederick on the Leominster side.
Well, I have to agree, Todd. You know, I think Rusty's a little disappointed they couldn't capitalize more, especially on their offensive rebounding. You know, a number of putbacks that they couldn't convert. But yeah, if you're Coach DiGeronimo, you got to be really happy here. A 6-point game, and you know, your team is scoring, you know, at a pretty good clip compared to what they've been doing in the past. So one thing I think they got to do is they got to clean up their ability to bring the ball up court, and that's really where Leominster is really making the most waves, is just harassing Fitchburg, trying to get the ball up court to get into an offensive set. And number of turnovers has led to the opportunities Leominster has had. They just haven't converted on them all.
So many ways to watch, and great to have you with us tonight. Whether you're joining us on YouTube, Facebook Live, or Twitch here tonight on Friday night, February the 10th, or in delay with our partners at Leominster TV and FATV, great to have you along with us. And if you weren't with us off the top here on RFM, once again a shout out and a big thank you to Nate Glennie, Executive Director, FATV, Travis Falk, the Swiss Army knife of technical difficulties here in Fitchburg, and the IT department here in Fitchburg for all collaborating in order to get us on the air tonight here from the Doug Grudgefield Fieldhouse with our view high above this beautiful fieldhouse tonight. Second quarter action, 14-8. And then Rosado will add a 3 to the Leominster tally. 17-8, 7:45 to play, second quarter.
Once again, Leominster with the turnover off that pressure on the inbounds.
And count that basket.
That's what Leominster's looking to get more of right there. Those turnovers, turn them into quick points. They failed to do that with any type of consistency in the first quarter, Todd and Kate, but I'm sure Coach Fredericks is happy to see the way this second quarter has started off.
And Boulay not able to get the follow-on. Got her own rebound, though, and banged that in. And it's 21-8.
Turns it into a 4-point play right there.
How about that? 30 seconds into the second quarter, and all of a sudden, Leominster has found themselves and has picked up the pace. Boulay, the steal, looks for Gorham ahead of the break, and threw her hands and out of play. And I like seeing Denham Gorham join the action here as we start the second quarter, because for Leominster, she brings a grit and a tenacity, frankly, that Leominster needs. They need that little bit of grit out on the floor, and she certainly brings that to the action.
Especially playing heavy defense, too. You got to be able to, mix and match your players, keep them fresh.
She's sassy out there.
Indeed.
I like it.
Boulay the steal. Sanchez got her hand on the cross-court pass. It's out of play. Leominster will keep the basketball.
Once again, the Lady Blue Devils doing a great job in that inbounds press.
The beginning of this second quarter is what we would expect to have seen out of this Blue Devils team.
Gorham frustrated there as she started her move to the basket before the ball hit the hardwood with the dribble. It's a turnover going back to Fitchburg, 21-8. Leominster's lead, 7:08 to play, second quarter. Up floor, Calderon's pass, not able to connect to Thamacek. And that ball will go out of play.
Pressure creating that turnover once again.
Rosado, left-hand drive, now to Pompey. Cross court, find Kelly. Kelly inside Gorham. Offensive foul appeared to be the signal. He changed it to an elbow. He grabbed the back of his head. It's usually the signal for the offensive foul.
I saw that too, and a little confused there, but we'll give him one. Oh, they are.
They are. It is.
The offensive
he did
foul.
not report it at the table as an offensive foul, at least from here, but it was the initial signal, so it's an offensive foul. They're saying it was a clear out on the elbow of Gorham, and an immediate giveaway by Kitchen. The ball will go back to Leominster, and we'll call it discombobulated here in this first half.
And I'm not sure at least they didn't post it on the scoreboard, because I think that would have been her second foul.
Down the floor. That's Sanchez. Deflected by Gorham. Rosado with the steal at the top of the key. Got room down floor as the pack follows, but Rosado gets an uncontested 2.
Nice job getting under control right at the end of that run.
This is what you want if you're Coach Frederick. You want consistent scoring out of your offense.
That one is well off the mark by MJ Thamacek. Out of play, and the ball back to Leominster, and unsettled basketball at this point in the second quarter.
And turnovers have, for the most part, led to 9 quick points here for the Lady Blue Devils. And Fitchburg continues to struggle, not scoring as of yet in the second quarter.
That's true.
And here come the Blue Devils from right to left. It's Caldwell for Keenan. Right back to Caldwell. Caldwell dances. Calderon got a hand on it, but it makes it back to Caldwell. Corner, Pompey, right wing jumper. That one goes.
Good patience, finding the right shooter in the right spot there. Fitchburg playing good hands-up defense, just can't cover everybody.
Winding down to the 2-minute point into this second quarter as we pass 6 minutes, 5:58 and counting. 25-8 Leominster's lead, and the Red Raiders throw that one away.
Somebody zigged when they should have zagged.
Back down floor. It's Caldwell. Caldwell for Rosado. Pompey tried to flash. It got deflected, but Rosado with it. Baseline pass finds Keenan the right wing. Short of the mark, Pompey rebound. That one doesn't go. Now Gorham gets tied up on the play with Santiago. It's a held ball, and Leominster keeps on the arrow.
Gorham gets rewarded for that aggressiveness.
See a little shoulder?
No, the arrow, I thought the arrow was facing Leominster.
The arrow is facing Leominster.
Why'd they give that to...
And Coach Frederick pointing at the arrow. The officials say the arrow was wrong. It's an immediate giveaway, and Leominster's got the basketball.
I'm all confused now.
I was going to say, I don't believe it's us. That's what I can say tonight. Ball rolls out of bounds. Action going the other way.
I'm looking at the arrow, and I'm trying to figure out who's inbounded.
Of the many things that our on-screen graphic provides, possession arrow is not one of them, at least not really well.
Yeah, I wouldn't
But
be able to keep up with
I
that.
got to tell you, we're going to get one of these days.
You know what it is? It's the rubber band on your hand. That's all you
Well,
need.
that is it. That's the officials either use the rubber band or they will use something in their pockets. The problem I would have with the whole thing in the pocket is you constantly move, so your pocket doesn't stay left or right.
There's a travel.
And there's a walk going back the other way, and Gorham pumps her hands in frustration with herself as she knows she just has to put the ball down on the floor before she gets that first move going.
Well, she was already on the ground.
And there was that. 5:08 and counting to play in the second, 25-8 Leominster's advantage. Calderon, right hand drive, too strong. Gorham with the ball. Gorham lost the handle, and she will send it for Keenan, who trails. Keenan into the front court, steps on the gas, kick Rosado, left corner three, catches a little rim, and Caldwell the rebound. Sets up for a three of her own, splash.
That was from the Fitchburg bench.
If you give her that much space, though, she'll take it.
Nice job, offensive rebound, and once again, pays off.
4.5 to play here in the second, and Leominster's lead is all of a sudden 20.
Yep.
And that tells you just how fast things can change. Two
second
things
quarter.
here in the second quarter that have gone on. Leominster has hit more shots than they have taken, which of course is nice when that consistency starts. It increases your score as well.
Fitchburg hasn't scored.
And Fitchburg has not yet scored. Those are the two things that certainly have hurt coming into this second quarter for Coach Paul DiGeronimo's bunch.
I'm not sure Fitchburg has even had a clean look at the basket in this quarter, Todd and Kate.
That's a nice
Struggled for every possession.
That's a nice adjustment by Leominster from the first quarter to the second quarter.
Taking the shooters away.
Bello, the turnaround on the double team missed, but Pompey gets the pass, floats, and down it goes.
Almost looked like a high lob there.
30-8, halfway through to halftime. Game one of two, a doubleheader here on RFM tonight. Great to have you along with us. YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. Todd Robbins alongside Bill Thomas and Kate Robbins. And great to have you with us, whether you're live tonight here on RFM via the multitude of platforms or you're joining us in delay. Community access across the Twin Cities. Our partners at Leominster TV, Bradley Bedard here tonight, bringing you the looks from high above the Doug Crutchfield Fieldhouse, or in delay with our partners at FATV as well, and through a partnership between LTV and FATV. Everyone working together to bring this action to you, and we're glad to have you joining us and a part of Interscholastic Athletics tonight. Timeout on the floor. 3:49 to play here in the second, 30-8. Second game coming up, and if you're joining us live tonight, there will be a break in the action. We will actually end this current stream that is labeled game number one, and it's labeled girls basketball. We'll break that stream. We will reset things here at the Grutch. We will start a second stream, and game number two will begin shortly thereafter. The posted tip-off time is 7 o'clock. We will go off and get right back on that new stream on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch just as soon as we reset everything for game number two. Leominster and Fitchburg boys action expected here. And I'll tell you, little tease for the action coming up
Bill
later.
Thomas, get ready for this.
Get this, okay? Leominster has been a team that has been struggling. They have not played consistent basketball on the boys' side of things. Meanwhile, Fitchburg, since losing to Leominster back on January 13th, has been on a 7-game winning streak. And Coach James McCall's bunch, they are looking better and better and stronger with each and every game. This one is going to be a great basketball game coming up in game number 2.
Looking forward to that matchup.
Kitchen missed that lay-in short, and here we go back the other way.
First good look Fitchburg's had at the basket in this quarter.
And a takeaway as Pompey is stripped by Santiago. Leominster will keep the basketball, and the shot clock freezes at 26. Keenan off the inbound 3, and she hits.
Tell you, who's ever in that far corner, they're loving it over there. All the points coming from outside shots over there in this second quarter.
Sanchez, first touch by Shea Marie Rodriguez, joined after the last whistle, and that ball out of play. It will be kept by the Red Raiders in the front court. 3:14 before halftime. Coming up the halftime break, we'll step aside. When we come back, Kate Robbins will have a full recap of stats from half number 1, plus we'll preview second half action and more on that game ahead. Fitchburg and Leominster on the boys' side of things. Second matchup this season for those two arch rivals, and a battle that both schools want badly. This one was out of play, and Leominster will get the basketball as Kitchen couldn't quite find the handle.
Want badly, need badly.
Well, there is both. There is a want versus need scenario there for both schools. Keenan for Lemansky. Inside find, Pompey got doubled. Bounce it back out, Lemansky's jumper doesn't go. Caldwell follow on to the loose ball. A miss. Pompey rebound. She got an elbow to the chin. She checks her teeth, and the Red Raiders have got a rebound, and now the officials will stop the break, and Pompey is going to get a minute over on the bench to count her bicuspids.
Because she needed another injury.
Well, she has certainly battled through just about everything you could expect.
Yeah. Luckily, prom's not around the corner yet. Just gotta go a little time. Whenever you have something going on in the face area, scary, especially senior year.
Indeed, and the officials' timeout now turns into a full timeout on the floor. I didn't see which side ultimately took the timeout, but it stops the clock at 2:35 to play here in the second.
She's a junior, but junior
33-8.
Junior prom's coming
Well,
up.
I was going to say, it's
That's
that
in
time
April.
of year. Yeah, second
My
half.
word.
Second half of the year. It's not the time.
Don't get hit
for
in the
that.
face.
Crowd starting to fill in here at the Doug Grudgefield Fieldhouse, and of course, in support of this one. And I got to say again, we mentioned it the first time these two schools got together, but we'll say it again. Kudos to the athletic directors between these two arch rivals to get this back on the schedule, the pair of doubleheaders each and every year. It just wasn't the same last year. It is so much better when both varsity programs can play at the same location on the same night twice a year. We get to bring you the action from both games. It's a great doubleheader. Both crowds get to go, and it is living proof that with both varsity games in the same location, both games get crowd support, and that's what it's all about.
Well, I couldn't agree more with you, Todd. It's about not splitting the crowd on a given night. When you're playing your arch rival, and I don't know why other schools don't do this, they pick one game a year and use the home and home, girls and boys playing together scenario. And like you say, it really brings out the crowds for these types of events.
In Eastern Mass, this is the regular, as this is a loose ball tie-up, and on the arrow this time, the table is correct. It is Leominster basketball. In Eastern Mass, at least in the Middlesex League, I can tell you that is how they play their schedule throughout. Both JV games are at one location, both varsity games are at the other on the same night.
Well, and you do that in the spring season and in, oh no, that's not true. In the spring season.
Yes, you do. That's correct.
True, but not in the fall season.
Correct.
It's very strange. Has to do with light outside, I think.
I think that's part of it, as Aquendo got a hand on the Lemansky pass, and Lemansky got the ball back, then lost it, then got it back again, 8 to shoot. Forsberg gets an open look, short of the mark, and Keenan couldn't keep it alive. She was across the boundary line, and the ball will go back the other way.
Come on.
And I'll just sort of put a final concluding point on that, by the way. Not only does the Middlesex League do this routinely, halfway through the season, they flip. So it's not always girls first and boys second. It will sometimes play boys first and girls second. They flip it at the halfway point throughout the year.
Nice steal there by Leominster.
And it's Marois finding Forsberg, and the lay-in will go. 95 seconds before halftime.
Good job on the finish.
I looked down. Marwa or Forsberg on the basket.
Fitchburg.
Thank you, sir.
The pass missed. Calderon ends up in the hands of Rodriguez. Over the head. Santiago finds Kitchen, and her lay-in does not go. And then Marwa gets tied up with Calderon. Held basketball, and Fitchburg will keep.
Unfortunately, Fitchburg still has yet to score in this quarter.
And if you're coach Paul DiGeronimo, you're sitting there going, what could have been?
Yes.
Because that first quarter was exactly what you wanted.
Precisely.
And then it just has not materialized in quarter number 2. That's a travel, and the action will go back the other way on another turnover.
You know, and I think the difference from quarter to quarter is Leominster's doing a good job at taking advantage of their opportunities as presented to them and have scored from the outside.
Caldwell for Forsberg, 48 seconds before halftime. Caldwell's 3 is hard in and out, and Kitchen's got the rebound.
Bill Thomas, 3 made threes for the Blue Devils.
Open opportunity there for Themacek, does not go. Rebound on the baseline, it's Caldwell, creates a little space with the forearm, finds Marwa, and in transition. Up for Marwa, Lemansky cannot hold. Out of bounds, and the action goes the other way.
Bill Thomas, not only that, 9 Blue Devils on the scoring sheet on offense.
Yeah, they're doing a good job spreading it around. Offensive rebound has been key, Kate.
Yep.
Shot clock off, final 20 seconds before halftime. Coming up at the half, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, and I will bring you first half stats from Kate and a preview of the action to come in game number 2, as well as a preview of second half action here in game number 1. Final 3 seconds, shot is off the mark and out of play. 1.2 showing on the clock.
The Red Raiders are going to go the entire quarter without scoring, Todd and Kate.
Coach Frederick adjusts. Forsberg, the runner, is long of the mark. But it is halftime of game number 1 between Fitchburg and Leominster. On the girls' side of the ledger, it's Leominster 35 and Fitchburg 8.
Well, I have to say, Fitchburg came out very competitive, but the wheels fell off in that second quarter for them.
And it's almost as if they would have been better off never stopping for the quarter break. Things were moving momentum-wise. They come out after the stoppage between the first and second quarter and didn't quite have the same light that we saw in quarter number 1.
Yeah, and I think that Leominster was able to have such a big quarter because they opened things up with their outside shooting. Kate mentioned 3 3-pointers, a number of 2s, and some good offensive rebound led to a 21-point quarter right there for the Lady Blue Devils.
Halftime here inside the Fieldhouse in Fitchburg, 35-8. Leominster on top of Fitchburg. Let's stick right here, Bill Thomas, before we head to the break, as it is the Fitchburg cheerleaders with a step routine. We'll take that, and then our halftime break here on RFM. And with that, 35-8, Leominster on top of Fitchburg at the half. More to come. You're watching high school basketball right here on RFM.
LTV Action Sports is brought to you in part through the generous support of these Leominster sponsors. MP Crowley Company Incorporated, www.mpcrowleyinc.com.
Halftime at the Doug Rutschfield Fieldhouse in Fitchburg, and great to have you along with us. Todd Robbins, Kate Robbins, Bill Thomas on the halftime break. Will be back with us in a matter of moments. Game 1 of 2 doubleheader action here on RFM tonight. Girls action between Leominster and Fitchburg has reached halftime, 35-8. Leominster on top of Fitchburg at the half. Kate Robbins has got your first half stat recap, and Kate, your numbers are going to bear it out. Fitchburg plays a phenomenal first quarter, keeps themselves in striking distance through one, and then all of a sudden, here comes second quarter action. Leominster comes running out of the chute and defensively snuffs out the Red Raiders on their offensive attack, and then the shots start falling, and quickly the total piled up.
Yeah, and I mean, Leominster's quarter adjustments between the first quarter and the second quarter, both on offense and defense, clearly making a difference. Fitchburg does not score a point on offense. They basically have two people that they rely on to make their shots for them. If we're taking a look, it's Calderon and it's Santiago. Those are their two big weapons. You're able to isolate them when you're on defense, and when they're on offense, then you're in business. So Fitchburg doesn't score. Not only that, Leominster working excellently in transition, getting into offense, setting their offense. Their passing has been good, and all of a sudden those perimeter shots, they start to fall and they get into a rhythm. That's your difference, 35-8 right now.
Quickly, your first half numbers for both teams.
All right. Team totals first for Fitchburg, 8 rebounds, no steals, 23 turnovers, 8 total points for the Red Raiders. Calderon with 5, Santiago with 3. On Leominster's side of the ball, 17 rebounds, 2 steals, 7 turnovers. They're 1 of 4 from the line as a team. 9 different people have contributed to the offensive stat sheet for the Blue Devils. Caldwell with 6, Rosado with 5, Boulay with 4, Marwa with 2, Keenan with 3, Kelly with 4, Forsberg with 2, Lemansky with 2, and Pompey with a team high 7.
And with that, away we go with third quarter action. And right away, a held ball, and the alternate possession will send the ball the way of the Red Raiders. 10 seconds into the third quarter, still at our halftime score of 35-8. And the Red Raiders got the basketball, creating a turnover.
Billy's phone. I'll go take care of it.
Going back the other way. The bounce pass, it's Pompey. Caldwell, baseball pass. Keenan, left wing jumper. That's good for 2.
Sorry, Billy, that's my bad.
Distracted. That's all.
Distracted.
Distracted.
It's my middle name.
Sanchez with a 3, rims out loose and run down, in that case, by Leiden, the sophomore who has seen some extended action in the first quarter. Calderon working a weave with Santiago, now swings for Kitchen on the right wing. Red Raiders go right to left here in the second half, wearing the home white over brick red bottom, and Caldwell the steal. And back the other way from left to right comes Leominster, black over black, trimmed in royal blue and white. Keenan with the right wing 3 does not go. Bello got held, and the ball ends up out of play off of her, and it is Red Raider basketball. 6:56 to play here in the third quarter.
We almost missed it, too. glad I sat down. I'm sorry, I just stabbed you.
Sanchez, the drive, foul line, kick. Leiden tries to go up with the finger roll, got fouled, and Leiden's got 2 shots coming from the line.
Good look right there, getting the ball into the basket, creating a clean look opportunity. Get a couple of foul shots.
Bello picks up her second, team first of the second half for the Blue Devils.
Neither team in any kind of foul trouble up to this point in the game.
Leiden hits the first, and it's the first points for the Red Raiders since quarter number 1.
That's got to be a relief to get something early here in this third quarter.
It's the first time they've been to the line all night.
Front rim on the second. Forsberg the uncontested rebound. Keenan for a trailing Forsberg finds Caldwell. Swing, Keenan. Keenan says, I'm going to give me this look. I'll take it. Back rim too strong. Bello the rebound. Tied up immediately by Santiago when Bello brought the ball down to her waist. It is a held ball. Leominster does keep, is the good news from their perspective. But remember, Bill Thomas, when you are the big man inside, keep it high, catch it high. Do not bring it down, as Caldwell gets an open look for 3 and hits.
Good point. Leads to a possession where they get a good look out of it, though, Todd, on that alternate possession situation, so they come away with 3.
6:10 and counting to play here in the third. Sanchez finds Kitchen. Bounce for Calderon, and it is dribbled away by Caldwell with determination. Bello for Forsberg. Low post Pompey, got the underside of the rim, it won't go. Shoveled out, it works its way around from Forsberg to Keenan. Too strong. Santiago had the rebound. Now the ball is loose. It's run down by Leiden, who immediately gave it away. Forsberg for Caldwell, back to Forsberg. Gets fouled, and Forsberg's going to the line for 2.
Good look right there, though. Forsberg immediately cut to the basket, got the ball back, finds herself at the foul line.
Kitchen picks up her second, team first of the second half.
Great to have you with us here at the Doug Grudgefield Fieldhouse in Fitchburg on RFM via our mediums, YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch, as Forsberg hits the front end of a 2-shot opportunity, or in delay with our crosstown partnership, Leominster TV and FATV in delay. Great to have you all with us tonight. Forsberg's second opportunity at the line. That one's short. It will bounce along and right into the hands of a waiting Naisha Quendo. Down floor, Calderon finds Kitchen. 3 doesn't go. Bello the rebound, bodies to the floor. It is out of bounds off Bello, and Fitchburg gets to keep the basketball. 5.5 minutes to play here in the third. 41-9, Leominster's advantage. Calderon goes inside for Santiago. Back out for Calderon. It was deflected out of play by Forsberg, and Fitchburg keeps the basketball.
Big block right there. Tried to save it on the rebound. Leominster playing good defense here in this third quarter.
Kitchen gets it right into a Quendo on the bounce pass. Sends that over to Needham.
Yeah, indeed. Calderon from the right wing, 3, does not go. Forsberg waiting for the rebound. In and out of the hands of Caldwell, and an immediate giveaway to Santiago. Santiago with the outlet, find Calderon. Little runner, too strong off glass. Pompey's rebound never held. Calderon right back up with it, collides with Bello, and Calderon's got 2 from the line.
Bello won that collision, but Calderon gets himself a couple of foul shots.
That should be Bello's third, and it is team second of the half.
The irresistible force met the immovable object, Bill Thomas, but the irresistible force gets 2 shots.
And Bello on the verge of maybe catching a little bench time here in this third quarter, picking up her third foul.
Leominster with 3 individuals waiting at the table to come in, and you are correct, Bill
Wholesale
Thomas.
changes, including Bello.
Calderon misses the first.
4:55 to play here in the third, and Coach Paul DiGeronimo said to me before the game tonight, they're focusing on the positive strides they've made throughout the year. Yes, they won their opening night game and then proceed to lose the next 16 in a row, as there was a foul on the subsequent action. But they are documenting the positives, and one of those positives, Bill Thomas, you made note of right off the top of the broadcast, which is on the scoreboard, they have made growth steadily. Tonight, in that first quarter, you saw it, but since, it's certainly been a bit of a void.
Yeah, they've got growth, but consistency is what they're lacking right now, Todd. Finding that consistent scorer.
Foul on the subsequent action. 4:44 to play here in the third. Leominster will have the basketball under their offensive hoop. Coach Frederick goes with a straight line stack. Forsberg, corner, Boulay, open 3. Too strong, Kelly the rebound.
Fitchburg girls caught standing around right there.
Kelly, Forsberg, then Lemansky. Push shot doesn't go, but got her own rebound. Bounced out to Forsberg, left wing jumper. That one will go down.
Third time's the charm right there. Offensive rebounding, keeping that play alive.
And then Forsberg scrambles right into a passing lane to take it away from Kitchen as Calderon made the long pass down floor.
Blue Devils doing a good job anticipating what the Fitchburg girls are trying to do with the basketball.
Inbound in the corner, this is Needham.
Tough spot over there.
Need.
Nowhere to go. Does a good job dribbling out.
Dribbles out of trouble into the lane, then gets fouled, and did they see an attempt to go up? Does not appear they did. They thought Needham was still down dribbling, had not converted into the act of shooting. So Kitchen will have the inbound for the Red Raiders under the basket to the left. Bounce finds Aquendo, then Santiago. And then the ball deflected out of play. Basketball will be kept by Fitchburg, and Leominster's trying to time up that opportunity. They're trying to get in those passing lanes, but it's sort of that double Dutch move. When do I get in without getting clipped by the rope?
Timeout.
And a timeout taken on the floor. Halfway through this third quarter, 43-9. Leominster's advantage, which certainly at this point feels commanding. Let's talk a little bit about the game we have ahead of us. Second game coming up. Fitchburg and Leominster on the boys' side of things. We've seen both coaching staffs already in the building tonight. They're already trying to figure out how to mix and match and to prepare for this one, because as Coach John Cordio just said to us just a few moments ago, the second time you play a team in a season, it is a totally different animal.
You're absolutely right about that. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of a situation where you have league play, because you get to have the home and home situation. And the nice part about this Leominster-Fitchburg, rivalry is that they're spread out nicely as well. So both teams have had a chunk of games to be able to continue to make progress, or maybe not make progress in certain situations. So it's going to be a very interesting evening. I'm going to be very, very interested to see. I know that Coach McCall had talked about the fact that his team previously was struggling to put 4 quality quarters of basketball together. Clearly, for the last few games, they've been doing that. So we'll see if that comes to fruition tonight. We're also in an interesting situation because Justin Dada, his point total for his career is moving in a northward direction. So does that kind of get in his head? It's going to be interesting.
Santiago, right out of the timeout, buries a 3 for the Red Raiders, and as we go under 4 minutes, 3:55 and counting here in the third, it's 43-12.
First points made from the field for the Red Raiders since the first quarter.
Leominster controls half court to the right. Meanwhile, Red Raiders, Kate, by the way, on the boys' side of things, you said it, they have certainly improved. Their last loss was against Leominster on January 13. They've won 7 in a row since, and each and every game they have got better. Meanwhile, Leominster, you look at the results in their last 5 on the boys' side of things, they've lost 3 of their last 5. Their last win was on February 6th on the road at St. Paul. They'd won the game before that on January 27th against Algonquin. But other than that, it's boxed around a lot of losses. Westford at Shrewsbury, and then against Wachusett most recently this past Tuesday in a 65-63 fashion. And right now, Fitchburg is progressing, and for Leominster, the word you'd be looking at is regressing at this point, and that's not where you want to be.
Well, and maybe regressing is too strong a word, but they seem to be on a seesaw, and so that becomes a precarious situation, because you're essentially becoming Jekyll and Hyde, and if you're a member of the coaching staff, you don't know what version of your team is going to show up on any given night, and that's not a comfortable place to be. Bench
choreography tries to body English Rosato's 3 in. It will not go. Ball out of play. Basketball back to Fitchburg. 2:45 and counting to play here in the third.
Calderon and Santiago really working hard to try to work together to make something happen on the offensive end. Just they cannot seem to get into a rhythm. The whistle blows every single time they're on offense.
Yeah, in this case, Santiago with the drive got held up. So the foul on the floor against Leominster. Fitchburg keeps the basketball.
That one's going to be Marwa's second.
And Marwa gets tied up immediately again with Santiago, and the arrow is red and gray.
Good hustle by Marwa to
red
get
and gray,
in on that. Now the official's got it right now. Switching back.
Hello, friends.
I told you, when you put something in your pockets, remember, your pockets move.
Hold on. I was going to ask you about how your left pocket can move to your right pocket without you touching it, depending on the direction.
But you got to remember the direction you're going, right?
Left is always left, Todd.
No, your left may always be left, but you keep moving around. So do you remember, is it up floor or down floor? Which direction does it go?
Nice steal by Marwa.
Marwa going the other way, 4-on-1 if they hurry. Kick back Boulay.
Talk to we have a few official friends. We can talk to them about that.
Ask them what their technique is.
You should know. You've officiated basketball.
I have, but I did not use a item in my pocket. I just told you. The pockets stay where they are, but you move. The rebound goes back the other way. Aquendo goes up floor and finds Santiago.
Oh boy.
Cross court and into the game. Soni Ina is able to keep the ball alive.
Another steal by Marwa.
Indeed, and Marwa tries to dribble it up floor, gets it well enough to find Kelly ahead of the break And Kelly gets the lay-in.
What a good look there, though. As soon as she regained control, immediately looked for the basket for that flashing player.
Oh, Calderon needs help here around mid-court. Bounces it over to Needham, but Needham not able to take care of the rock and gives that away to Boulay.
Indeed. Corner, this is Rosado. Rosado, the drive. Floater will go.
A nice step around right there. Drew the defense. Stepped around, got about 10 feet closer. A nice little bunny.
Final minute of the third, 47-12.
Calderon has been trying to essentially penetrate the defense from the exact same spot when she's bringing the ball down court. They've not been able to figure out this Leominster defense here in either the second or the third quarters.
Santiago got trapped and finally kind of rolled the ball toward half court, and Coach Paul DiGeronimo spent the timeout before the pass. 45 and 9/10 left here in the third. 47-12. Leominster's lead as we wind down here in the third quarter of game number 1. If you are joining us looking for game number 2 with an expected 7 o'clock tip-off for Fitchburg and Leominster's boys teams, we will have that action for you live here tonight on RFM on these same platforms, YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. Call your friends and family and let them know. We will break at the conclusion of this one, start a second stream, and that second stream will have all of the boys basketball action coming up in just a little while. Again, an expected 7 o'clock tip-off. We hope to have our stream on the air between 6:45 and 6:50, depending on how action here in game 1.
See some of the boys gathering up here on the balcony and seeing how the girls' game is wrapping up here, getting their energy flowing. Look like they're ready to go. Everybody's got a little nervous bounce to their step.
And with good reason, because they know every win matters, and they've got to have this one.
We've seen a reversal of fortunes in the two teams since they last met, so you're exactly right, Todd.
Don't tell him he's right, Billy.
All right, Kate, you're right, too.
That's right.
Ina for Calderon. Final 43 seconds of the third. Calderon tapped loose by Kelly. Calderon recorrals. And now Calderon, no dribble. She's trapped. She'll bounce for Kitchen. Kitchen dribbles baseline. The foul with a half a second on the shot clock. And 2 shots to come.
Not sure what happened there.
Pompey with the foul.
Well, that's going to be a problem.
And
looked like he said 44, but there is no 44 on the floor.
It's not a shooter.
That's even more of a problem.
What do we got? We're all screwed up here.
And now the shot clock is very much off. So they're going to have to reset that to 35.
Well, it's
or
only
it will
32,
be off, so 32
32
and 2/10.
So they got that right. I think there's something else going on here.
So if you are Coach DiGeronimo, you're questioning whether the whistle came with greater than 35 seconds potentially on the shot clock. Do we need to put time back on the clock? 2 coaches are meeting and conversing here. And again, I'll remind you, as we did in our last broadcast, there is no monitor to go to in high school basketball here in Massachusetts. So it is up to the officials to collaborate to figure out what was on the clock with the official table, whoever's volunteering to run those clocks. So much that you have to rely on is sort of in folks' best
35.
intentions.
14 on the shot.
They put 14 back on the shot clock. All right. The inbound doesn't matter. Boulay gets it, and Boulay in transition. She will stop at the baseline. 25 seconds left here in the third. No shot clock for the remainder of the third. Boulay for Rosado. Swing for Kelly. Corner. It's a drive and kick back. New number on the floor there. That might have been Garcia with her first touch of the season for Leominster. So the drive and kick. Rosado 3 away. That one caught net but didn't go through. Kelly had the follow on. That didn't go. And now the clock will expire here in the third. 3 quarters in the books from the Doug Crutchfield Fieldhouse in Fitchburg. It is 47-12. Leominster on top of Fitchburg here in game number 1. And a battle of the 2 girls programs here on game 1 of 2. Coming up, boys basketball over on stream number 2. Have that action for you here on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. Live here tonight on Friday, February the 10th on RFM, or in delay with our Twin City partners, Leominster TV and Fitchburg Access Television. Appreciate all of their help, partnership, and work as we all sort of work as one big combined entity tonight and throughout the year. So where do these two teams go from here? That is the question. Leominster's got themselves a couple of road games to wrap up this regular season. They will go on the road at Doherty, at Shrewsbury, and at Hopedale, and that is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday next week. That is a difficult calendar week, and no slouches on the schedule at Doherty, at Shrewsbury, and at Hopedale. That was a Shrewsbury game back on January 20th that Leominster won 42-27, but that Shrewsbury girls program has shown some growth. And now you've got to go to their building here on the second half of the year. So certainly a challenging schedule ahead for the Leominster girls. For Fitchburg, they will conclude their season next week on Tuesday and Thursday, here at home against Wachusett, and then Lunenburg here to the Grutch to wrap up their regular season. And then it's mid-watch basketball tournament time for the schools involved. That action will take place during February vacation as well, and we'll have some of that action for you here on RFM. Fourth quarter underway, 15 seconds in, 47-12. Leominster on top of Fitchburg. Gorham will knock that one away from Kitchen. And Coach DiGeronimo will bounce it back. Fitchburg keeps the basketball, half court left.
You need to stay hydrated, so you got a whole nother game in front of you.
Thank you, sweetheart.
You're welcome, dear.
Calderon comes to the near side. For Santiago, back to Calderon as they play catch at the top of the key. Entry pass got tapped away from Leiden, but she kept it alive while heading into assistant coach Baxter, but not enough time left on the shot clock. It will expire, and the ball will go back to Leominster.
Good.
That was a nice effort.
Good hands-up defense, though, by Leominster. All over the ball handler, no opportunities to work the ball inside or get a shot.
Some first varsity action out there for Leominster, and wearing jersey number 25, unfortunately, we don't know. That information has not trickled to our vantage point. Drive down the lane, Calderon gets held up by Boulay, and Calderon's got two coming from the line.
Todd loves it when he doesn't have numbers.
I always love being the last person that finds out information. It makes, a broadcast really flow nicely when you don't know who somebody is, when your job is to tell people who someone is. Calderon's first will go.
They who shall not be named. That's
Kelly will head to the bench. Bill Thomas.
My favorite thing is Billy just asked a senior.
Doing some negotiating over here to see who we can find out.
Thinking that he might know who that is.
Calderon misses the second. And look, but it's called teamwork, Kate. It's like radio.
It makes the dream work, doesn't it?
Teamwork makes the dream work. We just find somebody. Bill Thomas actually negotiated with the crowd in the last time they all played in order to get a name. As a foul on Gorham, it will send Gorham to the line for two. Bill Thomas.
Olivia Carr.
Thank you.
Dylan Carr's sister.
Well, they should know that.
I was
the
going to
boys
say,
should
I knew
know.
they'd know.
That would help.
Thank you, boys.
They have the same number, don't they? 25?
That is correct.
Now let's get back to the action.
25
I think I missed
and
what
25.
happened here.
Well, we'll add that to our sheets. Carr seeing some of her first varsity action.
Fitchburg foul. That gives them a team total of 3. Gorham at the line.
Can I also add that this cheerleading squad
It's
has been
phenomenal.
the most amazing bonus for tonight?
I love
as
this
that one did not go. They had a great halftime performance. We were able to catch sort of in transition to our halftime break. And they have just been engaged the entire time. And they are starting to, of course, help build this crowd to fever pitch, which is where we will be by tip-off of game number 2.
Bill Thomas, here's a trivia point for you. One of Todd's favorite movies is Drumline, and they have a phenomenal step portion of that movie.
I've watched the movie numerous times. It's got a great conclusion to it.
Absolutely. The
One of the
jumper
best.
from Calderon will go.
One of the best sequences at the end.
6:05 and counting to play here in the fourth, no doubt. Okay, it is by far one of my favorites. Boulay will swing for Rosado. Now for Carr, goes inside for Lemansky, and there's a push called on Santiago. That foul on the floor. 5:53 to play here in the fourth quarter.
It's going to be Santiago's third.
Swing top of the key. Boulay for Lemansky. Long two, back rim no. Rebound for Oquendo. Dropped to a knee. They let the action play on. Calderon for Santiago. Flips up a three. That one just rattles out. And the rebound for Rosado. 5.5 to play here in the fourth quarter. Looking for a long pass down floor. It is too long. Out of play, and the ball back to Fitchburg.
Changes here.
Red Raiders making some changes. Coach DiGeronimo doing a great job growing the experience of his team. And you just look down the lineup. Backstopped by freshmen and sophomores with a sparse group of juniors. And that's the program that Coach DiGeronimo is cultivating right now. And yeah, it's a tough year when you're 1-16, and sure, you're on your way to being 1-17. But as I said to Coach DiGeronimo before the game, he's creating good people. And at the end of the day, that is the ultimate in interscholastic athletics.
Absolutely. Good people and creating experience within his team. Learn how to operate on both sides of the basketball.
Rosado steps up for a three. It's short of the mark, and Sunini Ina not able to keep that one in play. It is out of bounds. Leominster will have the basketball back, and Carr will handle the inbound. Carr for Rosado. Screen set. Ran out of real estate. Carr gets the loose basketball back. Swing back. That was Ella Beeland for Carr. Swing out Gorham. Gorham steps around, but she walked with it, and the ball will go back the other way. Needham for Calderon. And here come the Red Raiders from right to left. If people only knew how many things Kate does in a given broadcast when she's here on site, you'd be absolutely amazed. Why do you think we want her back so bad, Bill Thomas?
Hey, trust me, I know why I want her back.
Calderon, the whistles go off, and it is a foul away from the basketball. I believe Gorham is going to be whistled for the foul, but they will report it out at the table.
She's an interesting situation.
Check it. No, it is a 20, but in this case, the 20 is going to be Leiden on the push of Gorham, and it's going to send the action the other way.
I say she is an interesting situation for Leominster. She brings such a spark when she's on the floor, but a lot of whistles are around here either when she makes a foul or a foul is committed against her. She brings quite a bit of physicality, grit, and a little bit of sass out there, which I kind of like.
Calderon comes back down floor, misses a three of her own. Loose ball to the floor, still alive. It comes loose for Thamacek, who kicks for Needham. Jumper left side won't go. Deflected ball out of play. It was touched by Carr, who tried to keep it alive on the baseline, but ran out of real estate.
You know, when we talk about Gorham Kay, I think she needs to learn to corral her enthusiasm a little bit more, put a little more under control. It's almost like the officials are looking for her on the whistle, on those loose balls, on those over-aggressiveness, but that'll come with experience.
Leiden with a shot put up to Calderon at the top of the key.
Oh,
Comes
boy.
for Needham.
Oh, boy, in the paint.
I was going to say, there is physicality going on, to say the least.
Gorham, not
And there
letting
is
it get a spot.
a whistle and a foul. They're going to say this is in the act of shooting. The signal was 2 shots coming up here.
Oh, boy.
Gorham does not, well, let's see, what would I say? Not a shrieking violet by any stretch of the imagination.
Trying to see who she was battling there. Leiden.
Leiden and her have been tied up inside.
Elbow to elbow, wrapped up like a pretzel.
More than that.
3:57 to play here in the fourth. That's the 7th foul whistled against Leominster, so the Red Raiders in the bonus the rest of the way. Calderon's first does not go. This was a 2-shot foul to begin with.
Next foul will also put the Blue Devils at the line in the same situation.
Yeah, a few more whistles here in the second half of this one.
Starting to add up.
Calderon with the kiss, and that one will go.
You know what matchup I want to see down there? Oquendo and Gorham. That could end in fireworks.
Indeed it could. Gorham's 3 does not go. Now there's a loose ball battle, and Calderon runs out with it. Calderon into the corner for Themacek. Jumper for 3 does not go. Rebound is Oquendo. Gorham slaps it away. Car crashes, rolls through with Calderon. It is a held ball, and the whistle says red and gray basketball.
Things are getting chippy.
Indeed. As they do on rivalry basketball. In this case, 2 arch rivals. The deflection and steal. 3-on-1 down floor. Rosado led the break, took the shot and missed. Then the ball out of play, last touched by Fitchburg, and Leominster will keep the basketball, despite the fact that Leominster was retreating down floor.
And Billy and Todd, these are the types of things that if you are Coach Frederick, although this is going to be a commanding victory, and it should be, especially on paper, there are plenty of things that Leominster can clean up, particularly on the offensive end. It's going to be very interesting to see what type of adjustments, not just we see from tonight. Clearly there needed to be adjustments between the first and second quarters, but there's some work to be done by this Blue Devil team if they want to be successful going forward.
Absolutely. And one thing I've seen tonight, Kate, is the in and out game. They're not just settling for a perimeter pass and are looking for that in and out. Try to pull a defense away from the shooters. It's worked very well tonight.
Foul on the rebounding action.
And come down the other end of the court.
Indeed.
Shoot a couple. Or a 1-and-1.
Now 1-and-1 opportunity.
Todd, I just saw the greatest interaction going on. We have a gentleman over by the entrance in a Fitchburg Letterman sweater, probably from the 1960s, and he is showing it off like it is his prized possession.
Indeed it is.
It is amazing.
And it is in excellent shape.
Condition, yep.
And I can tell
We'll give
that
him a peek. We can't really see who it is. Maybe we
2
can.
stories up and across the field house.
Fabulous.
And I bet you it's a pride and joy that he breaks out for special occasions just like this.
And Sanchez's first will go on the front end of the 1-and-1.
It's great to see, though, but this is what this rivalry brings out in the alumni, in the fans, in the parents and grandparents. We see this game in and game out.
I want to go steal it.
Clipped to the rim, and off they go. Kate, of the 3 of us on this broadcast, you're the only one of us that has 12 varsity letters.
How many do you have, Todd?
I am a varsity broadcaster. We didn't get letters. The swing, this is Rosado.
Don't ask me either, Kate.
Drive and kick.
Oh
Gorham
boy.
gets tied up, and Gorham and Themacek exchange pleasantries.
And she's not afraid to mix it up, I'll tell you.
Indeed not.
I like the intensity she brings to the court is tremendous.
It leads to a Blue Devils
But
possession.
it is like a train going off the rails.
Well, that's it.
At times. Corner. This is a Carr. Look for a long 2. It will not go. Santiago the rebound. Under 3 minutes to play here in the 4th. 2:55 and counting here in quarter 4. 47-18. Sanchez with that shot. Santiago with the shot. And that one caught rim and then out of play. Action back to Leominster. And this is Elena Garcia with the inbound.
I gotta get me a Letterman jacket. We didn't get them.
You did. They just looked different. It wasn't a sweater at the time.
I need that Letterman sweater.
As Gorham's shot will go over the rim and into the hands of a waiting Santiago going the other way.
Faked me out there.
It took me all the way until I started work in Watertown to get my first varsity letter. We were given a varsity letter for serving on the rebranding committee. So that was the first varsity letter that I got.
Gorham takes that one right out of the hands.
Down floor, held up. It is a walk. And back the other way.
So, Kate, what have you done with your 19 varsity letters?
12.
I only have 12.
Oh, 12. I'm sorry.
12 varsity letters. 19 would be a massive record.
Did you frame them? Are they individually framed?
I have every one of them.
She does.
On display?
No, they're in my basement.
12 varsity seasons.
Well, I gotta get ready for Billy's face when I tell him.
12 varsity seasons used to be, something that they just gave you the 12 letters. It is now an award. If you were able to successfully play 12 varsity seasons, which would mean you have to play
That's 3
varsity
seasons, 4 years
sports
straight. Yeah.
every year
Yeah.
for 4 years, from freshman through senior year. If you're able to pull that off,
So,
you get a special award, and that was before our time, or I should say after our time.
So
We were before said time when that award existed. But
Billy, how many times did I serve as captain of a varsity sport at Leominster?
12?
that would be a record,
That would
too.
be a record.
6, maybe half of them.
No, close though. 5.
5. I'd say by the time you reach junior status, I'm sure you were well established within the athletic community.
I was
question
I
about
was
it.
varsity captain of varsity volleyball my sophomore year.
Nice.
Gorham's
No
3
wonder you
will
know so
not
much
go.
about that game.
We'll get back to the world of
No, we will
volleyball
not.
somewhere
Oh,
soon.
well, yes, that we will do.
absolutely.
That we will do.
Santiago did not get that one to go. No, Kate was thinking I was going to say, we'll get back to more of Kate's life
Please don't.
as the action
Well,
continues.
we'll get back to the
here.
basketball game eventually.
She's hoping for that.
Hey, I'm looking forward to doing a track meet. We've been asked to do a track meet by one of
Indeed.
the athletes.
Oh, I know
you
who
know.
it is too. Mr. Excitement asked
It
you.
is.
Indeed.
It is.
Yes, he
Ricky
did.
asked if we could do a track meet.
It is something we have never done before.
Leominster
never did a
doesn't
golf
have
either.
home meets.
That is one of the challenges, although there is a really beautiful diagram of where one could possibly take place. One need only fund it. 122 and counting here in the 4th. Speaking of funding, by the way, as this one a 3 short of the mark for Calderon, Battle Booth will keep that one alive into the hands of Ina. Swing through the lane. This is Thamacek. That shot will not go, and the loose ball run down by Lemansky. Final minute here of game number 1. Leominster looking to close this one out. And Leominster will play catch around the key. Now Carr gets the catch and drive along the baseline that was deflected. Action continues. Beelan's drive held up on the play. She is fouled in the act of shooting. 2 shots coming up here for Beeland. Oh, they're going to say 1 and 1. So the foul on the drive before the shot. And so Beeland will go to the line for the 1+ opportunity. We're talking about funding. This week, of course, we have, or at least the last couple of weeks, it was announced, the New England Patriots will be contributing through the NFL's program for contributions to local schools, $250,000 toward the Crocker Field restoration to be used for the installation of turf at Crocker Field, making that an all-sport facility for the entire community of Fitchburg. That's an exciting opportunity. That's to come. And then that came with a follow-on amount of money and allocation from ARPA funding from the mayor here in Fitchburg, Mr. Di Natale. $2 million will be allocated from that, and that should bring Crocker Field's restoration, at least one of the next phases, turf and the additional improvements to the overall facility, into a reality in the very near future, potentially by as soon as this Thanksgiving. Here's the drive, and the runner will go for Calderon.
I mean, to make that the centerpiece of Fitchburg, downtown Fitchburg, and an all-purpose sporting event venue, a great opportunity for the city of Fitchburg.
Absolutely, and that NFL program is absolutely a fantastic partnership between the National Football League, who you know isn't hurting for cash, and their ability to help communities all around their 32 franchises.
And I would guess Crocker's a little bit, what's the right word? Disappointed that they don't get the recognition that we get over at Doyle Field with all the improvements.
Well, it's
and
going to
the
open up
statewide.
so many other
Exactly
opportunities for
right.
a historic venue.
Exactly right, and I'm glad to see that.
No doubt about it. 47-20, Leominster tops Fitchburg in the conclusion of this one, and Kate will bring you the final stats, including a few surprises to wrap this one up here at the Doug Crutchfield Fieldhouse in Fitchburg. Leominster takes game number 1. They improve to 9-6. The Red Raiders fall to 1-17 on this 2022-2023 campaign. Game 1 of 2 in the books. Tip-off for Leominster and Fitchburg on the boys' side of things. Expected coming up at 7 o'clock. We'll have that action live for you on these same platforms here on RFM. We will be breaking the stream up, so we will be taking a break coming up once we get Kate's final stats on this game number 1. Once we have that, we'll break the stream, we'll reset things, and we will come back to the Doug Crutchfield Fieldhouse on a separate stream for boys basketball action as we reset. here at the Grudge. But so much more still to come here on game number 1. Leominster a winner, 47-20. We'll step aside. Stay with us. You're watching high school basketball right here on RFM. Here on RFM, Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins with you here on RFM. We bring this first game to a conclusion here and talk a little bit about the final stats. And first, Bill Thomas, I'll start with you, and that is, if the Fitchburg team that came out in the first quarter played the next 3 quarters, I feel like we've got a very different basketball game. And that's the part that I think, I had said it earlier, will be the thing that for Coach Paul DiGeronimo will be the most difficult, which is that he had the right chemistry going in quarter number 1, and then the quarter ended. And then so did that momentum. And that's the unfortunate part, I think, of the storyline here.
Yeah, and I think what happened, the intensity level dropped off for whatever reason during that quarter break. But, let's give Leominster some credit, too. They did some adjusting and worked their offensive sets a little better, found an open shooter, worked really hard under the boards and, stymied the Fitchburg offense with that full court press on every chance they had, whether it was an inbounds, a rebound, off a missed free throw. They were doubling the ball handle every chance they had. Never allowed Fitchburg to get back into that rhythm that they found in that first quarter, and Leominster just kept the pressure on, and that's the way the rest of the game went. There was nothing Fitchburg could do to regain that momentum once Leominster found the secret to the pressure and getting Fitchburg back on their heels.
And offensively, Leominster did their best work in the middle 2 quarters, the second and third quarter, because the first quarter was not great. And Kate, the fourth quarter was even worse by your tally. Leominster failed to score in the final frame.
They did. Final frame, they had 3 attempts from the line. They were 0 of 3 from the line, and they had nothing from the field in the fourth quarter.
And while they had a commanding lead, I don't think you can sit there and go, well, yeah, what are you going to expect? You were just trying to run out the clock. Not so much.
No, not so
on
fast.
that one. That is a quick way to try to explain away.
This isn't a football game.
That's correct. A fourth quarter where you need to put together 4 quality quarters. I mean, how many coaches do we have stand up here from how many different communities that tell us 4 quarters, 4 quarters, 4 quarters? We've got to have 4 quarters. We're going to talk about it
when we get to the boys' game in about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Coach James McCall. His boys have struggled to put 4 quarters of quality basketball together. Now they've been on a tear, so we'll talk to him about that and see if there have been some changes. But that, if you're Coach Rusty Frederick, although that's a commanding win and you can, bring positivity out there, I'm not happy.
I'm not thrilled.
I'm not happy.
I'm not elated.
I'm thrilled for the first 3 quarters if I'm Rusty, but going scoreless in that fourth quarter, that's problematic because you want to maintain that consistency. Win every quarter, not just 3 out of 4.
Correct.
If you want to be successful.
But they only winning the first
season.
quarter by 4 points.
And not where you
So you're at
ultimately
50% production in my book right now.
Yeah, indeed.
But they have the ability. It's about sparking the fire. They have the ability. And this was, as we said at the beginning, this was going to be a difficult game to maintain that grit, that fire, that passion. I mean, he brought in Gorham, who she's going to go out, she's going to make it a fight for everything. But there wasn't offense to match that type of intensity where you saw it on the defensive end from Gorham. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens to this girls' team. They have the pieces, the puzzle pieces are there. But can they put 4 quarters of basketball together? That's a question mark for me.
And their defense creates the opportunities for their offense. They get the steals, they get the ball moving in transition, and then their misses are a monumental number that add up time and time and time again. While we're adding up numbers, Kate, your chance to wrap up this 47-20 Leominster win with the numbers.
Yes, let's. All right. Fitchburg side of the ball first. Team totals 20 rebounds, no steals, 28 turnovers. They were 3 of 9 from the line. Calderon had a team high 11 points. Leiden had 1 point. Santiago had 6 points. Sanchez ends her night with 1 point. On the Leominster Blue Devils side of the ball, 28 rebounds as a team, 6 steals, 13 turnovers. They were 2 of 9 from the line. They had that 27-point victory. They had quite a few people involved in the stat sheet, which was excellent. Caldwell had a team high 11 on the night. Rosado with 7, Boulay with 4, Marwa with 2, Keenan with 3. Let's see, Kelly with 6, Forsberg with 5, Lemansky with 2, and Pompey ends her night with 7. Pompey's an interesting one. We only really saw her in the first half of play. We know she's been kind of nursing an injury, so that one was interesting to see. And then Frankie Bello as well, scoreless tonight for the Blue Devils. So some interesting things going on relative to offensive production. They've relied on their defense primarily. They get a lot of people involved, but little chunks here and there.
Plenty of opportunities for growth. And you can see in the split screen box, warm-ups beginning for our second game of our doubleheader. As we promised you, we are going to break action here. We are going to come back on these same platforms, YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch, and bring you game number 2, Fitchburg and Leominster on the boys' side of things, here live tonight on RFM. For those of you joining us in delay, on Leominster TV or Fitchburg Access Television, we thank you so very much for being with us tonight in delay for game number 1. I want to thank Bradley Bedard from Leominster TV for bringing us the action here from the Doug Grudgefield Fieldhouse and into the Twin City communities on a delay. Once again, also thank our partners at FATV, Nate Glenny, Travis Falk, and the IT department here in Fitchburg for helping us get this action buttoned up and on the air live tonight here on RFM. So we thank them also very much for their great partnership in this one. Final score, 47-20. Leominster tops Fitchburg in girls basketball action in game number 1. Game 2 coming up next. Fitchburg and Leominster on the boys' side of things. Both teams fighting for their playoff lives in Division 2. Both teams fighting for playoff position, and 2 teams that have been going in starkly different directions since their last meeting. All that, the backdrop for the fun to come next. That stream starting right here on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch in a matter of moments. For now, for Bill Thomas and Kate Robbins, I am Todd Robbins, saying thank you so very much for joining us here for game number 1. We'll talk to you in about 5 minutes on stream 2 for game 2. Stick in, stay with us right here on RFM. Until then, so long, everybody.
LTV Action Sports is brought to you in part through the generous support of these Leominster sponsors. MP Crowley Company Incorporated, www.mpcrowleyinc.com.